Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some more figures from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and in today's review I've definitely saved the best till last, as we're going to be taking a look at not only one of my favourite figures from the Rogue One line so far, but one of my favourite characters from Rogue One itself, and I haven't even seen the movie yet. It is of course none other than the sinister director Orson Krennic. This is a phenomenal figure and an even cooler character, and I can't wait to see him in action come December. Now, I'm going to share this figure with you in more detail in just a little bit and also share some of my thoughts on the character itself. But before we do that, as always, let's take a look at the packaging that he comes in. Once again, we do have the standard Rogue One packaging design with this figure. So you've got the Death Trooper featured at the top of the card alongside the Rogue One logo. And just below that, you've got some awesome artwork of director Krennic himself, obviously played by the fantastic Ben Mendelsohn. On the front of the bubble there, you've got an image of the play feature that's included with the figure. And on the back of the box, you have a rundown of the Studio FX app from Hasbro and a brief description of the character. So there is the packaging this one comes in. Now let's take a look at the figure itself, and I've got to say I am blown away with this one. In many ways he kind of contradicts what I said in my Jyn Erso in her Jedha outfit review, in the sense that the pose isn't dynamic, but that kind of lends itself to the character. Obviously director Krennic is an Imperial officer, a rather high ranking Imperial officer, and so he's not going to be waving his hands around, running across a battlefield in any particular sort of dynamic action pose. He's just going to be standing around, overseeing the construction of the Death Star, looking imposing, and in that respect, he achieves that. You know, he's stood, he's straight-laced, he looks the part, and I'm loving it. One of the things I really like about Orson Krennic's character in Rogue One, without even seeing the film, is the presence that Ben Mendelsohn brings to this character. If any of you guys were in attendance at Star Wars Celebration Europe back in July, then you'll know for the Rogue One panel, Ben Mendelsohn did come onto the stage in full director Krennic uniform, flanked by Death Troopers, just embracing the character. And for me, that goes a long way. And again, I can't wait to see him in action in the film. And one of the other cool things I'm really looking forward to is seeing him go toe-to-toe with Darth Vader, especially after that most recent Rogue One trailer. In terms of articulation, director Krennic is your standard 5 POA figure. So he does feature a ball joint at the head and swivels at the shoulders, although as you can see the cape that he's wearing does restrict some of that movement, though it is removable. So I'll give you a look at that in just a second. We also have swivels at the hips, although once again the lower part of the officer's tunic does restrict some of that movement. But again, posability and articulation with this particular character isn't a major issue. For me, this is definitely one of those characters where as long as the sculpt and the detail is on point, then articulation can be practically non-existent as far as I'm concerned, and it does the job well. Now, as I mentioned, the cape itself is removable. It's made of this really soft and durable plastic, which is really good, and obviously it just slides off like so, and that gives you not only a better range of movement in the shoulders, but also a better look at the officer's uniform that he's wearing. Sadly, because this figure is so white, a lot of that detail doesn't show up on camera. But once you've got this thing in hand, you'll really get a great appreciation of the detail. You've got all the creases and folds in the uniform. You've got what appear to be comm links or communicators or maybe even thermal detonators there on the belt. And of course on the torso you've got the rank badge and the code cylinders in the pockets. So that's really, really cool. There is also a holster located on the belt, which is very nice looking indeed, and that of course can store the blaster pistol that's included, which is a really nice looking blaster. It's not something that we've seen with any other character. It's a very 1950s sci-fi blaster. It almost looks like a ray gun, and that of course can be removed from the hand and placed into Krennic's holster there. Sadly, it doesn't go too deep into the holster, and so it kind of restricts the movement in the arm. But for the majority of the time, Krennic is going to be holding that blaster, threatening anyone who comes near the Death Star. So obviously you can reapply the cape. The cape just clips into place, it just slides on like so. It doesn't, clip into any plugs, it just rests on the shoulders, and that creates a really nice, natural, free-flowing look to the cape. And again, there's some great detail on that, although sadly on camera it just looks like a solid white block. But yeah, very cool figure indeed. I love Krennic's look. The head sculpt is phenomenal as well, and that's something I almost glazed over. But as you can see, a more than passable likeness to Ben Mendelsohn. And I have heard some reports of this figure where the paint applications haven't been so great on the head, where the eyes have been really giant and bulbous, but I seem to have got one of the better ones. I've got no complaints with the paint applications on this figure, and I absolutely love it. From head to toe, this guy is awesome. Now, in addition to the removable cape and blaster pistol, he does come with an additional accessory, and this is one of the gimmick or play feature accessories that we've seen throughout this line. In this instance, it is what looks to be similar to a Z95 rotary cannon from the Clone Wars. It's sort of a big Gatling gun, although in the same respect as some of the other accessories from this line, it attaches to the figure's forearm via a gauntlet. Now, to fully achieve this look, you do have to remove the cape and then slide the arm on like so. And I'll be honest, it looks a little bit ridiculous. You know, there is no way that an Imperial officer would carry around a weapon as large as this. Again, Krennic isn't going to be on a battlefield. He's not going to be, you know, getting involved on the front lines. And so there's really no practical use for this weapon with a character such as Krennic. For kids, I'm sure they are going to absolutely love it. And obviously, Krennic is one of the few villains that we've seen released from Rogue One so far, in addition to Darth Vader and the troopers. But, you know, it's one of those things. Take it or leave it. I'm not particularly a fan, so I'll be displaying Krennic without that weapon. But without it, he looks fantastic, and this is a highly recommended figure. So, as always, if you want to purchase this one for yourself, head over to the link in the video description, which will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, where at the time of filming this review, I believe he's currently out of stock, although obviously Rogue One is right around the corner, so these figures will be coming in, you know, heavy quantities at some point, I'm sure. So just keep an eye out for him. If you see him, grab him. He's an awesome figure. Definitely not one to be missed. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I will be back with some more reviews very soon. I've got some fantastic Black Series and Lego sets to give you a look at, so make sure you stay tuned for all of those. In the meantime, thank you for watching this review, and as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.